Hey everyone, today I'm going to be going over the world wonders in Sid Meier's Civilization 5 Lekmod. And the way we're going to do this is I'm just going to be reviewing each wonder, placing them in a tier, explaining my thought process, and showing you guys what I think about them. Let's add some extra tiers real quick. We're going to do, I've already done this beforehand, but essentially, um, these are the tiers we're going to go with. And let's change the colors and get into it. So first off, let's explain the fact that wonders all have opportunity costs. So the way I'm going to be ranking these is how good these wonders are, like relative to their era when you can build them. And that is going to be very contextually important because some of these wonders are just going to be like much stronger than other wonders. Like if you compare Sydney Opera House to Oracle, Sydney's a significantly better wonder than Oracle in the vacuum because Sydney gives you a lot more culture. Oracle only gives you one culture. But the tech path, Oracle's tech path is much better than Sydney's. It comes earlier in the game where it matters more. So you'll see that reflected in the rankings that when a wonder comes is also going to be important to its placement. So again, it's going to be relative to other things you can build in the era, other wonders that you might build in that era. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's talk about this very situational tier. This is going to be pretty easy. Let's put all the situational wonders in there. First, let's start with Terracotta Army. So Terracotta Army gives you a copy of every unit that you own, every military unit you own when you make it. So obviously this is great when you're doing an attack or if you're defending, you just get a lot of hammers worth of units. But if you're not doing that, then this is just hammers towards military, which is not hammers towards sim. So unless you're planning on doing some war or maybe like trying to be precautious and defending, well, you're probably not building Terracotta Army. So Terracotta Army is going to go in very situational. Another wonder that's going to go in there is Louvre. So I should mention that this is being done on Lekmod patch 34.5. So Louvre has just been changed. It is no longer gated behind exploration. It no longer gives you a free artist. Instead, it comes with two, I think it's great works of art inside of it, pre-constructed. So yeah, two great works of art already filled. So Louvre is going to be a very situational wonder because although it does give you like the 6 culture for building it, um, beyond that, it's not really something you really care for unless you're doing tourism. For tourism, this is going to be a great wonder. It gives you 2 great works, which is going to be great for your culture, great for your tourism with all those modifiers from aesthetics and freedom. So this is a great wonder if you're doing tourism. Otherwise, not really something you're concerned with. Another tourism wonder is going to be Broadway. Broadway is, it gives you a free musician, so this is nice for after you hit internet and after you build your National Visitor Center to get a musician out, but otherwise it's not really that good. Like you can plant a musician, but that's not really better than just planting an engineer. So this is going to go in very situational. You're almost never going to be building this unless you're tourism. And one more wonder to go in very situational is going to be the Great Firewall. And this wonder is basically just completely useless unless you're playing versus tourism. In that case, if they have internet, this can sometimes save you from losing the game. Um, but otherwise, yeah, you almost never see this built. If no one's doing tourism, like, don't even think about engineering this. Just plant your engineer or whatever. Okay, so those are the very situational wonders out of the way. I think the way I want to do this is I'm just going to go from bottom to top. So let's start with the F tier wonders. And the worst wonder in the game beyond these very situational wonders, in my opinion, is going to be, which one is it? It is Great Wall. So Great Wall gives you 1 culture, an engineer point, and watchtowers in every city, which is like mini walls. Um, so the most important thing here is the engineer point, but the other most important thing here is that this wonder gives you no sim benefits outside of that, and it comes at a time where you're building core infrastructure. Like you're going to be building your aqueducts, your libraries, your workshops. Like there's just so many better things to be building than Great Wall. This is like, it has some value if you think you might get attacked, like you have contentious borders with someone, then it can sometimes be worth pushing up the queue. But otherwise, I see this wonder go way earlier than it should in most games, and there's really like the only sim value of it, in my opinion, beyond the keeping yourself safe, is the engineer point. And there's so many better ways to get an engineer point than this that you must be truly desperate to come to Great Wall for help. So the next wonder beyond Great Wall is going to be Statue of Zeus. Pretty unsurprising, this wonder sucks. It's basically just a forge. It gives you production towards military units and 2 culture, and combat bonus versus cities. Like combat bonuses versus cities is pretty nice late game, but when this is unlocked, this is not really what you want, and there's a huge opportunity cost to building it. And unless, let's just say that most of the time I build Statue of Zeus, it's for a city-state quest. So take that for what you will. Next wonder in F tier is going to be Eiffel Tower. So this wonder gives some happiness, like 4. It gives 12 tourism flat. It gives you a free broadcast tower in your city. It's reasonable. It's worth engineering in the late game, because there's not that much worth engineering in the late game. But you know, if you're going labs, you might consider this. And if there's nothing else to engineer, you also might consider this. But you also might consider planting an engineer besides that. It's probably worse planting an engineer than Eiffel Tower, but I mean, there has to be some wonders in F tier, and that's where Eiffel's going to go. Next is going to be CN Tower. This also gives you a free broadcast tower like Eiffel Tower, but my problem with CN Tower is that it just comes extremely late. It gives you a population and happiness in every city, which can be a decent amount of yields. Like if every single one of those populations goes towards working like a workshop slot, that's like 2 production per city, but then you lose food. If you work a mine, you're still losing food, but you gain 4 hammers. So it can be a decent amount of hammers, but again, this comes super late in the game, and like it's worth engineering like Eiffel Tower, but you honestly don't really care if you lose this wonder, and for good reason. It doesn't do that much. Next, last wonder in F tier is going to be Cristo Redentor. So this wonder got buffed, and because of that, I think it's no longer going to be like just above statue. Now it can be above like CN Tower. So late game culture is what this gives. It makes your policy discounted by 15%, which is a nice amount. But the problem is, realistically, this is only going to give you, I think, like, if you saved a bunch of writers, it can give you 1 policy. But if you already bulbed your writers, it's probably not giving you a policy for the rest of the game. So the free policy is very nice, but this is far from a free policy unless you saved a bunch of writers. So, I mean, it's worth engineering, but yeah. All right, let's move on to the D tier. So these D tier wonders are going to be solid wonders. Like the F tier wonders, like they're like you never want to hard build these, but in very specific situations you might want them, and they might go like pretty late, especially with Great Wall and Statue of Zeus. But these D tier wonders are going to be starting to get pretty solid. Like these wonders are going to be sometimes worth building, and you're happy to get them. So let's start. At the bottom of D tier is going to be Parthenon. So this wonder, the main thing it gives you is +6 culture. That's like a big amphitheater. An amphitheater at this time is 67 hammers. This is 167 hammers for like 3 amphitheaters, which, I mean, is fine. It's not like amphitheaters are particularly good at the time you unlock them. So this can be nice. It's nice if you're doing tourism as well. Just getting an extra great work is great, but otherwise, this is like a pretty expensive piece of infrastructure that like you might throw up and expand sometimes. You're not exactly thrilled, but yeah. Next up is going to be Red Fort. This wonder is pretty decent actually. It gives a decent amount of yields. It gives happiness and culture, a good amount of it. Let's see. It gives 4 happiness, 8 culture, and the defense bonuses. It gives a scientist point as well, which can be useful. But the problem with Red Fort I have is that It's just going to be, it's coming at a time where like you have other things you want to engineer, like Brandenburg, like um, your Himeji Castle, even Neusch. Uh, you also might need to be saving an engineer for um, your ideology wonder. And so it's pretty rare you end up engineering this. Like it does happen when you think this is what you're going to get and you can't get Brandy, or you're already going to spawn another engineer for your ideology wonder. So it can be worth engineering this sometimes. And it's pretty decent. Like, I mean, 4 happiness, 8 culture is solid. That's like Eiffel Tower kind of. So not a bad wonder. It comes earlier than Eiffel, so I hard build this a decent amount. It's not bad. Next wonder is going to be Pentagon in D tier. This is a pretty solid wonder. A lot of times I will go combined arms because I want Pentagon, but again, these wonders come so late. This wonder, it can give you a lot of effective hammers with the gold you can upgrade, but at the same time, you can engineer it, lose it to a same turn, and it's not really that much different because you just got gold that you would have spent on upgrading anyways. So, oh well, it's fine to lose, but it's also fine to get. Next up is going to be Panama Canal. This is a new wonder in Lekmod, and let me show what it does real quick. Panama Canal, it gives 1 culture, 3 gold, 2 merchant points, and importantly, it gives a free great merchant and also extra gold from your external trade routes. Ignore the canals part, canals were removed a while ago, but the important thing is the free merchant as well as extra gold from externals. So this is pretty good if you're coastal. Like, you do want this wonder, but at the same time, like, it does have a relative, I mean, it's still situational. Like, it's a good wonder. You want it if you're coastal, but it's also not too big of a deal if you lose it. It's good. D tier. Next up is going to be Neusch. Neuschwanstein. I'm definitely butchering that pronunciation, but here it is. This wonder gives you, I think, 6 gold, 4 culture, and 2 happiness, and then half of those yields 3 gold, 2 culture, 1 happiness per castle. Yep, and a merchant point as well. Who cares? But this is a nice scaling wonder. If you have it, you want to build all your castles. Normally, you don't want to build all your castles, so that's a lot of extra hammers you want to invest into Neusch. But like in this meta that we're in right now, where everyone's scaling, trying to go to space, clicking order, sometimes greeting it up is what you want to do. So this wonder gives you a lot of gold, culture, and happiness, and if you have time to build the castles, it's definitely worth it. The problem is it's down here because a lot of times you don't have time to build your castles. If you always had time to build your castles in every game, this would be a great wonder, like a B or A tier wonder, but the reality is you don't. So in that case, it's going to be D tier. If you're playing a castle civ, like Moors or India, then this goes quite a bit higher. Like you will specifically tech rifling just to go for this wonder, but this rating is not for castle civs, so it will be in D tier. A solid wonder. Next up is going to be another new wonder actually added in this patch. It's Tower of Bellum. Let's see what this wonder does. It's pretty decent. It's worth building. Whoops, that's not how you spell it. Here it is. Tower of Bellum. And it gives +1 production and +1 gold from cities settled on the same landmass, and +2 golden age points for different landmass cities. It also has 2 culture on it, and I think it has golden age points on it as well. Let me confirm. Yeah, it has 4 golden age points on it by itself. So yeah, this wonder's solid. It requires exploration, and it gives decent sim benefits. Like if you have a few inland cities, a few island cities, this is giving you like what, maybe 5 hammers, 5 gold per turn, and like a few golden age points. Golden age points are a weird yield where they're very useful to a point and then useless afterwards. So it's hard to evaluate how good it is. I feel like it has a lot of diminishing returns, but overall, it's decent. Like a wonder that gives you like 5 gold, 5 hammers, distributed amongst your cities on average, maybe, then that's not bad. It's like an ironworks with some extra cherry on top with the culture and golden age points. Yeah, I think that belongs in D tier. Next up is going to be Uffizi. This wonder requires aesthetics and is unlocked at architecture. It gives you a great artist, and that's basically it. If you're doing tourism, it has 4 great work slots in it, which can be good. It can give you a lot of extra tourism and culture if you can theme it, but otherwise, for most games, it's just going to be an artist. An artist is 6 turns of Golden Age, normally, so 6 turns of Golden Age is not bad. Around D tier is where I'd put it. It's a solid wonder. Artists are good. Golden Ages are great. Let's go to the next wonder, which is Great Lighthouse. Great Lighthouse is a coastal wonder that requires optics. It gives you a quinquereme when you build it, which is a unit that can navigate deep ocean. It's basically a Giga Chad trireme. And so it also, importantly, okay, let's talk about the important parts of the wonder. It gives you +1 movement and sight on all your naval units. That's pretty good. Makes naval warfare a lot better. Movement and sight are both very important when you're fighting naval warfare. It also gives +1 gold on all your coastal tiles, which is also great. That's a decent amount of gold you're getting from this wonder. The problem is it's unlocked at optics, which is around the time that if you're coastal, you have a lot of things you want to be building. You want to build your lighthouses, and even though Great Lighthouse gives you a free lighthouse, lighthouses are really good and you want to build them quickly. So the opportunity cost for this wonder is pretty big a lot of the time because you're often not building this after a lighthouse, and well, sometimes you are, but a lot of times you'll build your lighthouse and then build Great Lighthouse. But yeah, a lot of times if I'm playing tradition, I'll just like stick this in an expand with only a single coastal tile in its first ring. That'll eventually grow to more coastal tiles, so it doesn't need its lighthouse right away. But I'd want the Great Lighthouse for later wonders. This is a great scaling wonder. It doesn't do that much for you immediately, so that's why it's in D tier. It's a good wonder, can't always get it. Next wonder is going to be Angkor. Angkor Wat is in D tier. This wonder gives you a free university and +5 science and +5 culture. It's unlocked at education. Like, this is a good wonder. If you're first to education, you usually want to build it because the 5 science, 5 culture is worth it and it pays off. It also gives scientist points, which is nice. It helps you generate your scientists faster. The main problem with this wonder is that losing it sucks. It's usually pretty easy to tell if you're going to lose it, though, because you'll see someone else in the tech first. If you're checking the education tech costs, then you can know whether or not you want to go for this. If you lose it while you're building it, it's bad. If you lose it and you just built a normal university, like, it's fine. Who cares? Like, it's a good wonder worth going for, but you don't really care that much if you lose it, so it's going to go in D tier. 5 culture, 5 science is a decent amount. That's like 5/12 of Porcelain Tower. You put it like that. It's a decent wonder. Okay. Last wonder in D tier is Great Mosque of Jen. And so my problem with this wonder is that it's good, but it's not good enough that I really care that much about it. So it gives, I think, 3 culture, 3 happy, 6 faith, and an engineer point, as well as the benefit for missionaries being able to spread in extra time. So yeah, those are the yields. It gives you an engineer point, which can be hard to get on piety. The engineer point is relevant, especially on piety. So that can be a nice way to get that. The yields are pretty solid, but if you compare it to like Colosseums and monuments, it's like a monument and a half, a Colosseum and a half, and then you factor in the hammer cost, like it's already like 120 hammers worth, and you're paying like more hammers for faith bonuses, which on piety is going to come after URL. So, I mean, it's not super tempting to build, but it's not bad. So, D tier. Let's move on to C tier. These wonders are starting to get pretty good, like really good. I want these all the time. So let's start off at the bottom with Globe Theater. Globe Theater is a great wonder. It gives you a writer. Writers are amazing. That's a lot of culture. It gives you a writer point as well, so you're incentivized to build this in your city with Writers Guild, although that's not always going to be the city that can build it fastest, and getting the wonder is more important than uh, optimizing the writer point placement. But if you have like an engineer, this is a solid one for the engineer. Not as good as the other wonder in the printing press tech, but if you don't have the opportunity to engineer that, this is a solid wonder to engineer as well. So writers are great. It's going to go in C tier. Next up is going to be another war wonder. It's Alhambra. This wonder gives you plus 25% culture in the city. It gives you a free castle, and it gives you free drill 1 on all, I think, melee units or ground units trained in the city. Basically, all units trained in the city get drill 1 if they're able to, and that's pretty good. If you have double promotions in a city, then you can get double cover or double ambush, which is great. If you have 3 promotions in a city, you can often get units with blitz or march or repair, and those can be pretty good as well. Like blitz tanks or blitz GDRs can go crazy in the late game, as can like march cavalry. If you have autocracy with elite forces, those can be really nice as well. So some of these promos are really nice, and especially if you're tall, you can get value out of the plus 25% culture and the extra promos in your strongest city. So this is a pretty solid wonder. It can give you a lot of value, and it can often be worth beelining chivalry for. So after universities, of course, that is. But yeah, it's a great wonder on tall. If you're not tall, it's worse, obviously, but it's still good. Next up is going to be a very similar wonder. It's Brandenburg Gate. So this wonder, it gives you scientist points, which is interesting, but the important part obviously is the plus 15 XP in the city, as well as the free Great General. So the 15 XP can give you triple promos if you are not autocracy, which is super nice. Can also do other weird things like give you quad promos as Zulu, or give you triple promos without mill academies as autocracy. But yeah, that access to triple promos on other trees is really nice. And free Great General is super nice as well for war, because I'm sure you guys know Great Generals are amazing. And just being able to citadel land and control roads, walk in enemy territory with full road movement is crazy good. So Brandenburg Gate, C tier wonder, it's really good. And you might argue it's much better than Alhambra, but in my opinion, Alhambra's value on tall builds especially is pretty nice with the extra culture and promo. So I put them next to each other. Next up is going to be Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. This is a great wonder. It generates a lot of gold, gold on stone tiles, gold whenever you pop a great person. That's very valuable. So it's can be hard to build this wonder early because it's kind of a scaling wonder. It gives you most of the gold in the later game. Like if you're popping about like, I think on average you might pop like 20 to 30 great people per game, and then that's giving you like 2,000 to 3,000 gold in a long game. If you do that like 3,000 over like, let's say 100 turns, that's like 30 gold per turn. And 30 gold per turn is a lot of gold per turn. The problem is you don't get a lot of that immediately. So I'm going to say that Mausoleum, it's a good wonder, but it can be rough to build early when you want to be building your other things like granaries, Stonehenge, monuments, workers. Mausoleum's not more important than your core infrastructure, so it's going to go in C tier just based on the fact that you aren't always prioritizing this, but when you get it, it's really good. You'll notice your gold that game is just randomly really good. Next up is going to be another new wonder that was added in this patch. It is the Arsenal of Venice. Arsenal of Venice. It's a good wonder. It gives double units or double naval units when you produce them, but they are more expensive. So they cost 33% more production, but you get an extra copy for every one you build. This also gives 3 culture and 2 great engineer points, as well as some extra defense in your city. The engineer points there's actually a significant amount of engineer points. I didn't mention it. Oh, I did mention that Brandenburg gives scientist points, but Brandenburg also gives a non-insignificant number of scientist points. Yeah, 2. That's that can be a difference between scientist spawn. But anyways, back to where was it? It was Arsenal of Venice we were on. This is a good wonder. It gives you a lot of extra production towards or a lot of extra effective hammers towards naval units. Like if you think about building a frigate, then this can be giving you like hundreds of hammers per turn, like or thousands of hammers per turn even later with battleships, which is a lot of hammers. So this can be pretty good. Is it worth going navigation for before factories? Hard to say. After factories, sometimes. After public schools, 100%. This is definitely a wonder that you should prioritize if you plan on doing naval warfare. And it's really good. So that's where it is. Next up is going to be Big Ben. This is the commerce purchasing wonder. It gives you gold discount on purchases. That's great. That's a lot of effective hammers. Similar to the other gold wonders like Mausoleum, this can generate you a lot of gold throughout a game. But you do have to be playing the specific strategy for it, commerce purchasing. So if you're commerce, you want this wonder. It's good. Next up is going to be Temple of Artemis. This is the honor opener wonder. It gives 3 production, 3 culture, and 3 gold, as well as a great engineer point. It also gives you extra production and experience for ranged units trained in the city. So yeah, this is a pretty good wonder. Like a lot of times you'll build this like before you want to do your catapult or composite bow attack, and like it's good. It's kind of like a big barracks for honor. Like honor's barracks gives 1 hammer, 1 culture, 1 gold. This gives 3. And you know what? Barracks on honor are good. This is good too. Next up is going to be Huey Teocalli. So this gives +2 food, +2 culture on lakes. It also gives faith as well as a great engineer point. That's a lot of yields, and sometimes this wonder is just one of the best wonders in the game. Like if you have a 5+ lake city, then this is honestly like an A or S tier wonder. Like you really want to prioritize this. This can be worth like great engineering on Liberty sometimes. But on the average case, like where you only have like maybe 2 or 3 lakes, it's more of like a C tier wonder where it's just solid for the city. It gives you extra culture and food, but sometimes you can have trouble building it unless it's your capital. But yeah, this is a good wonder. A lot of yields, pretty nice. You'll shove this in your expand and have it suffer through not building a workshop and university till much later, but that's fine because Huey's good. We're gonna have one more wonder in the C tier, and that is Hagia Sophia over here. This just gives you some faith with the free temple and also a free great prophet. Importantly, the free great prophet. That's the important part of the wonder. If you don't have a religion, sometimes this is exactly what you need to save your game. This can happen a decent amount of the time if you're like tradition without a faith pantheon, maybe your honor, but those are definitely the builds that you really want to prioritize this on. Those tradition games where you don't have a solution for faith, this can be your solution, and it's a lot better than building shrines and temples. So sometimes you'll go theology, or you'll rush to theology for this wonder, and it's really good. Religion's good. This can save your game. So that's what we're going to put Hagia Sophia. Next wonder is going to be the Sydney Opera House. This is a B tier wonder. This wonder is hard to rate because it comes at such a bad tech. It's at ecology. And so what happens with ecology, or first of all, this wonder gives you a free social policy and 50% culture in the city. 50% culture is like, it's great, but obviously the free social policy is what we care about. And this can be game winning. Let's talk about the situations where you'll go for this wonder. If you're tourism and beelining internet, you might engineer this wonder because it's just on the way to internet and you'll likely be in ecology before everyone else. The problem is, if you're doing tourism, you probably care the least about social policies. Like, you still care about the culture, but, like, I mean, the policy is not that important if you're doing tourism, so it's not that impactful. If you're not doing tourism, however, this wonder does become more interesting because sometimes this wonder gives you the policy you need to win the game. It can be the difference between you getting like patronage 3 for the extra votes to win diplomatic victory. It can give you your freedom or order policy to finish your spaceship parts. And in those cases, this wonder is game winning. And social policies are just in general very good. So even though this is like off the beaten path, no one wants to go to ecology, this can win you the game. So it's a B tier wonder. Like a free social policy is extremely powerful. It's hard to rate a free social policy anything below B tier. So this is going to be the lowest we're rating a free policy wonder, and it's Sydney Opera House. Next up, we're going to Hanging Gardens. Hanging Gardens is a great wonder. It gives you +6 food, a garden, a great engineer point, and it requires tradition, but those are all great things. The +6 food especially is so good. It just makes any city that builds it like insane. Oftentimes you'll see people building this as their capital. If you're the only tradition player, sometimes you can sneak getting this in and expand instead of your capital, but that can be pretty greedy. But yeah, this is just a really good wonder. It's a solid piece of infrastructure. A lot of times you aren't playing trad for this wonder. Like if you're playing tradition, a lot of times your goal is to get something like Oracle or Petra, not necessarily hanging, but this is just a really good thing to grab. So Hanging Gardens, B tier wonder, it's great. Next up is going to be Althing. Althing is another one of these wonders like Huey that sometimes can just be like S tier if you have an insane Althing city, but let's go over what it does because it's a new wonder to Lekmod. It is unlocked at metal casting, and it gives 1 culture, 1 scientist point, and +1 production and culture from tundra tiles. So in particular, this is not going to make your flat tundra very good, but it'll make your tundra hills great. It'll make your tundra lumber mills great, your tundra deer great, any of your tundra luxes amazing. So you want a lot of these non-flat tundra tiles when you're building Althing. And if you do, it can be a lot of hammers and culture, and that's very valuable. So on the average case, it's often worth building before a workshop, and I would say that makes it a very good wonder. And in the strong cases, it's worth rushing this wonder. Obviously, you'll build it before a workshop. Sometimes you'll buy a workshop in the city building it, but in those cases where it's strong, it's super strong, like S tier worthy. So think about your situation and if Althing is going to be worth beelining for you. Next up, let's go to Notre Dame. Notre Dame is unlocked at physics. And a lot of times you'll see people beelining physics for this wonder, and for good reason. This wonder gives 10 happiness, which is the most you can get out of any wonder by itself. It gives you 4 faith as well as an artist point, so the artist point is something you might consider, like you might engineer this in your artist guild city, but other times, like the 10 happiness is obviously what you care for. 4 faith sometimes matters. Yeah, 10 happiness is 10 happiness. That's amazing. And sometimes this is the only way you're going to fix your happiness. Like if you're doing a crossbow war, you might tech this as you're doing your war, hoping to get textiles elsewhere. If you're playing honor, sometimes you might go here after workshops because you want to scale and you need happiness to grow, and you're just going to rely on big pop to carry your science instead of rushing to universities. So yeah, Notre Dame's great. Sometimes worth going for before unis. I don't do it a lot, but you know, there are people who do. A very similar wonder that people sometimes go for before unis is going to be Machu Picchu. Some people might think this rating of Machu is pretty low, but I think it's about where it belongs. Like, this wonder gives you a lot of gold. It's pretty similar to Mausoleum, actually, in how much gold it generates you. I'd say on average, it's about like, when you get it, it's not going to be 30 gold per turn, but throughout the course of the game, it might be like 30 to 40 GPT on average, which is pretty good. That's like a little more than Mauso usually. It also gives you faith and or a merchant point. Both can be great. This is one of the best wonders along with Notre Dame to capture in the game. So if you build Machu, you might have a target on your back, but yeah, this wonder is just so good. It gives you so much gold. Gold is one of the most powerful resources in the game for amplifying your scaling because it lets you just get better tech units faster by upgrading. And yeah, it's really good. So this wonder is very worth going for. B tier, just because it's in B tier doesn't mean it's bad, by the way. Like a lot of the wonders in the game are really good. So Machu Picchu being in B tier, that means it's a very strong wonder. So keep that in mind. Next up is going to be Taj Mahal. This is also an incredibly strong wonder. You'll see this engineered a lot. You'll see people go straight to architecture, engineer the other architecture wonder, and then hard build this because it's so good. It just gives you a free golden age and 4 happiness. Both those things are amazing. 4 happiness, obviously, we talked about Notre Dame giving 10. This gives 4. It's not as much, but this has a very relevant other line of text of entering a golden age, and we talked about it before with Uffizi, but golden ages are amazing. And a natural golden age, which this is an 8-turn golden age as opposed to Uffizi's free artist, which only gives you a 6-turn golden age, is a lot better. Plus, there's a weird interaction where normally if like you pop an artist on your turn, then you only get like 5 of the 6 turns of golden age as yields, right? Because the golden age starts and ends at the start of your turn. So, but the thing with Taj is that if you like engineer this in your capital, then the production will finish in your capital, and then you'll get golden age yields for every single one of your other cities for that turn. So it can kind of gives you like an extra turn of golden age compared to Uffizi even. So yeah, this wonder is just really good. Like golden ages are so strong. One of the most impactful resources in the game. It gives you so much gold, culture, and production that Taj Mahal's phenomenal wonder. B tier. Next up, all these wonders left are so good, but next one's going to be Borobudur. This is a really good wonder. It might be a bit too high up relative to Aya, but it is like quite a bit better in value compared to Aya. If you just compare what it gives to Aya, like Aya gives a profit, which, you know, sometimes the profit's what you need, but Boro gives you 5 faith, Aya gives you 3 faith and a free temple, so it's the same amount. It gives you a great engineer point. That's a pretty good upside. It gives you a free garden in the city. That's also a really good upside, and it gives you 3 missionaries. 3 missionaries is often worth more than a profit if you already have a religion. So all these things are upsides for Borobudur over Hagia Sophia, and why if you already have religion, you'll almost always want to go for Boro over Aya. But yeah, this wonder is just really good. 3 missionaries is a lot of tempo. I didn't talk about this with Aya, but Aya is a tempo wonder because it gives you an instant profit, and beyond that, like, not really scaling your game. This is also a tempo wonder. It gives you basically 390 faith instantly with the missionaries, and that just instantly fixes all your spreading problems, and it enables you to do things like take a building for your enhancer because you have the extra faith from this and save the faith from the missionary. It lets you enhance faster because this solves your spreading issue. So Burrow is just a phenomenal wonder. It can solve your engineer problem for getting a Renaissance wonder engineer. It does by itself by giving you a garden and an engineer point. But I didn't talk about those with hanging gardens as well. But with hanging, you can, with the garden and engineer point, you generate a super fast engineer, which sometimes you plant, sometimes you can just use to engineer something like Machu or Notre. But same thing with Boro. You get a fast engineer, so this gets you your important wonder like Sistine or Leaning or Globe Theater. And yeah, that's great. Boro is a great wonder. A lot of times, just like with Aya, you'll see people go to theology just for this wonder, and it's a good reason. Next up is going to be Pyramids. This is the Liberty Opener wonder. Pyramids is great. It gives you 2 workers, which, I mean, you built a wonder. Like, it's not worth the production costs just for the workers. But, like, that's half the cost of the wonder there, recuperated, so not bad. Not as good as getting 2 workers instantly, but what else does it give? It gives you an engineer point. That's good. You need engineer points because those will get you your important wonders later with engineers like Notre or Leaning Tower. So engineer points are good. It also gives you, the most important part is the extra worker improvement speed. So notably that lets you 1-turn roads, and 1-turning roads is extremely strong for war. Like, I don't think it's possible to understate the value of 1-turning roads versus 2-turning roads. Your unit mobility is so much better. You can get your city connections up faster, of course, but this is most noticeable during war, of course, and this is a phenomenal war wonder. Pyramids is so good. B tier, amazing. The last wonder we're going to put in B tier is going to be Stonehenge. This wonder did just get nerfed this patch, but not very significantly at all. Got a tiny nerf in the fact that gets a little less border growth. So this wonder, it gives you +6 faith, plus 20% border growth now. Lowers the culture and gold cost of acquiring new tiles by 20%. Gives you 6 faith, 1 culture, 1 engineer point. This is a great wonder. This is one of the best early game wonders you can go for. Oftentimes, it's the best thing for your sim. Like, it gets you, if you don't have a shrine, it can get you your Pantheon. A lot of times on Tradition, if you skip your shrine, then you want Stonehenge so you can get your Pantheon. And that's really powerful. It will also get you a religion eventually, just by itself, so you don't have to worry about your faith game that much with this. And yeah, it's just really good. Border growth is a very strong thing to have as well. It just improves like the quality of tiles you're working in your cities. It'll get you more freshwater farms, more hills to work. So it's just a really good wonder. You'll see a lot of people building this immediately after Settlers, or like after Granary, or in their first expand, they'll just queue Stonehenge because they want it that badly, and it's for a good reason. Next up is going to be our first A-tier wonder, which is Hubble Space Telescope. This wonder is pretty broken. If you're from vanilla, you might not know what this does in Lekmod. It does not give you 2 free scientists, unfortunately. What it does do is it gives you 10 science, 10 base science, which is quite a bit even this late in the game. Gives you 3 scientist points, which can sometimes be the difference between generating scientists faster or not. Gives you free recycling center, sure, that's fine. Can help you if all your aluminum gets pillaged. The most important line of text is a 200% production towards spaceship parts, and this is in all cities. So what this does is it gives you a lot of hammers towards spaceship parts. If you're going to space, ignore these production costs, but these all cost 1,000 hammers each, and you need to build 6 of these parts. How much production is this saving you in a game? Say like maybe you'll engineer or buy the last part if you're Order or Freedom. Say you're only like building 5 parts with Hubble. Like that's 5,000 hammers. Maybe you're saving like 3,000 hammers on that with Hubble, accounting for other production modifiers. 3,000 hammers is a ridiculous amount of hammers. Like this wonder is so good if you're planning on going to space. It just lets all your cities like 3-turn, 4-turn parts. Your capital can often just 2-turn apart with Hubble. You can see numbers that get ridiculous. 600 hammers per turn, 800 hammers per turn while making a spaceship part. And yeah, this is just so many effective hammers if you're planning on going to space. This is very, very powerful if you're planning on going to space. It can be worth going straight to satellites just for this wonder. It's that good. And that's why it's an A tier. It only helps with space victory, but you know, space victory is one of those inevitable win conditions, so sometimes you might want to be planning for it early, even if you're not doing it all the time. Next wonder we're going to place is Forbidden Palace. This is similar to Hubble Space Telescope in a way, in that it helps you with a win condition. This one is going to be Diplo, and while Diplo it requires a lot of votes, this gives you 2 votes. 2 votes can be the difference between winning and losing the game. That's not all this wonder does, though. It gives you a lot of happiness. It gives you less unhappiness in unoccupied cities. Minus 10%. That can be a decent amount. It's about like 1 happy every 10 pop. So maybe like 10 happiness and on 100 pop empire. That's pretty good. It's a lot of happiness. Sometimes you see people open patronage just for this wonder. And I'm not saying it's always correct, but this is just a phenomenal wonder. Like, it's great for your sim. It gives you World Congress control, and it can win you the game with the votes. So I think it's deserving of A tier. This is just one of the most important wonders in the game. Next up is going to be Colossus. This is one of the best sim wonders in the game. You see coastal players rushing for this all the time, and for good reason. It's cheaper than a normal wonder of its tier. Like, if you compare it to Parthenon, Parthenon's, well, this is not the right game speed, but this is normally 167 hammers. Colossus is normally 100, I think 23 or something. But yeah, this is a phenomenal wonder. It's very cheap. It gives you a free cargo ship, which is half the cost of the wonder already, so that's very nice. It gives you an additional trade route permanently, which is just amazing. Like, cargo ships are already phenomenal. So this giving you an extra cargo ship, this would be worth building if it just gave you an extra cargo ship and cargo ship slot. But it does more than that. It gives you gold for external trade routes. It gives you a great merchant point. It gives you a culture. And it gives you 5 flat gold. Now, these might all sound like small things, but this on top of the cargo ship is huge. And actually, the flat gold is really nice on Colossus because if you're coast, you do need gold to buy tiles. Specifically your fish tiles, your luxuries. And a lot of times, like, you might not have the best gold situation on coast, but then you finish Colossus and suddenly you can just buy all your fish tiles. And fish tiles are broken. They give so many yields. That's why Colossus is just A tier, amazing wonder. Worth rushing. You see people rush this all the time. It's amazing. Next wonder is going to be Oracle. Oracle just got nerfed from +3 culture to +1 culture, which, I mean, it matters. Like, the wonder's worse now than before, but I mean, you're still obviously very happy to get it. It gives you a free social policy, which is awesome. It's most impactful, of course, on tradition. When you get your faster tradition finisher, you'll see tradition players rush for this all the time. If not the tradition player, oftentimes a piety player will go for this to get their finisher faster so they can enhance their religion with their profit, which is amazing. Whenever you go for Oracle, your game is just going to be really good if you get it because the free policies just phenomenal benefit. It's a lot of tempo with, and also a lot of scaling. That the tempo from a free social policy, obviously, but scaling because it lets you start working towards your next policy tree. Culture is one of the best scaling yields in the game, and this just gives you a whole lot of it with the free social policy. It also gives you a scientist point, which can help you generate an earlier scientist, which some might argue is a downside, but in this meta where games are going kind of late, the base science of the academy that you plant early can matter. But again, Oracle's just really good. See a lot of players going for it. The reason it's not like super high is because of where it's at. So remember when I started this list, I said the location or when a wonder is available is going to be very important. So Oracle's located at Philosophy. What else is at Philosophy? We have temples, National College, Great Mosque. This is not a super important tech unless you're piety for temples. So a lot of times you don't really want to go Philo early. You'd rather go for like aqueducts or maybe towards like mathematics for hanging gardens, or currency for Petra. But philosophy is just quite out of the way. It's not even on the way to civil service. So if you go for Oracle and you don't get it, it can be detrimental to your game because you just spent a lot of science going for philosophy when there are other things you want to be teching. So yeah, there's a big opportunity cost towards going for Oracle, and sometimes it's just not worth it. Especially if you lose it, obviously that's terrible, but yeah, Oracle, phenomenal wonder. Sometimes not worth it though. It's still A tier, it's really good. So next wonder is going to be the Great Library, cousin of Oracle kind of, because you see a lot of people going for Great Library into Oracle. That actually will generate you a scientist very early that you'll often have to plant because it'll bulb for some crappy amount around the time you get universities. But yeah, what does Great Library do? It gives you a free technology, a free library, and it gives you +3 science and +1 culture in the city, as well as a scientist point. This is it's just a broken wonder, man. Like, free technology is amazing, obviously. A free library is great. +3 base science, +1 culture. All great yields early game. This is, for some builds, this is going to be just the most important wonder in the game. Like, if you're rushing Petra, this can, you can GL into currency, and that just, can secure you Petra with how fast you are in the tech and can build it. If you're playing Apostolic Palace Piety, which is a strong reformation that you want to be rushing theology for, this is one of the most important wonders in the game because it gets you to your Grand Temple faster. And there's just a lot of builds that really, really want Great Library. And then even if you aren't playing a build that wants Great Library is still just one of the best wonders you can get for your game. Like, say you're just playing like some random Liberty build and you see no one's in writing because literacy is all at 0% besides for you. You just queue up Great Library. What does this do for your game? It gets you to aqueducts faster. Aqueducts are a huge boon to your growth. It gets you to civil service faster. It gets you to workshops faster. It gets you to everything faster. All these things that are amazing for your game. And Great Library is just an amazing tempo wonder. It does so much for your game. And yeah, it's just so many builds want this. You're never sad getting Great Library. You're always happy. Next wonder in the A tier is going to be Porcelain Tower. Porcelain Tower is an extremely strong wonder. So let's read what it does. It requires rationalism. It's unlocked at architecture. This gives 1 culture, 2 scientist points, and +3 science, +3 culture on all luxury tiles worked on a city. So in your usual case, this is going to be +12 science, +12 culture in your capital, because that's often where you're going to engineer it. There are other cases where, say, you moved your capital and you then like have a 6-tile pork, which is obviously phenomenal. +18 science, +18 culture is a lot better than 12. But still, like, that's just a lot of yields. 12 science, 12 culture is a lot, especially concentrated in one city. Oftentimes, you have your national college in that city. You have maybe your Grand Temple. You have your Hermitage, maybe. You might have Alhambra. But yeah, all these modifiers on top of these base yields, that's a lot of science and culture. And yeah, a lot of times you'll see people rush architecture specifically for this wonder, and also for Taj Mahal. But yeah, this is the wonder I was saying people engineer a lot when they beeline for architecture, and for good reason. It's just so many yields. It's really good. Next up is going to be Himeji Castle in the A tier. Himeji Castle is this is a very strong wonder. What does it do? It gives you +15% combat strength in your own lands. And also 2 engineer points. 2 engineer points is great. Free castle as well. So the engineer points are nice, obviously, but the 15% combat bonus is super powerful. Like, it's just, if you equate it to hammers, then you can just say, like, you gain, like, maybe an extra 20 hammers on every unit you build in the Modern Era Plus, which is going to be very powerful, but obviously it's better than that. It's hard to explain, like, how strong combat bonuses are. Stacking combat bonuses is very powerful. I used to rate this wonder lower in the autocracy meta, because in that meta you were doing more, as autocracy, you were going to be doing more attacking than defending. But now we're in an order meta with the new patch, so suddenly defending becomes a lot more powerful when you're incentivized to just sit and sim. So with that, Himeji Castle also goes up in my evaluation. And I mean, this wonder has always just been one of the best. Like, combat bonuses are so strong, and this just gives you an unconditional combat bonus in your own lands. I say unconditional, but that's conditional. But yeah, Himeji Castle is amazing. So goes to an A tier. Another A tier wonder is going to be Petra. Petra, it can be just Giga triple S tier, most broken wonder of the game. If you have like 6 or more Petra tiles in your cap, this is just the best wonder in the game. You want this all the time in the desert. But I'm knocking it down from here because it is situational, right? Like, if you don't have any desert, a 0-tile Petra is just a caravan trade slot as well as an engineer point, which is still good, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the value in the wonder is in the desert yields. You get +1 food and hammers from non-floodplains desert tiles, and that can be a lot of demos. By demos, I mean food and hammers, of course, but yeah, say you have like 5 Petra tiles, that's 10 demos on top of the extra caravan you get. That's just nutty. It's an insane wonder. Only an A tier because it's situational. Otherwise, it'd be triple S tier. But yeah, that's Petra. It's amazing. A lot of times you see people grief very hard for this wonder. Like, they'll play tradition just because they see a Petra capital, or they'll take a culture pantheon on Liberty just so they can engineer this in a Petra city. It's so good. All right, moving on. We have 6 wonders left for our S tier. I think you can see them bleeding on at the bottom of the screen, but let's go over them. What's going to be at the bottom? The last wonder in S tier is going to be Sistine Chapel. Sistine Chapel it's such a good wonder. Gives 25% culture. 25% culture is amazing because culture is a very strong scaling yield, and this just gives you 25% in all your cities unconditionally. This is really good. You see someone build Sistine, you want to kill them because you want to get Sistine. I would say in a vacuum, this can be stronger than some of these other wonders. like the next wonder we're going to be talking about, which is Leaning Tower. But uh, the reason I put Sistine below Leaning, even though I think in a vacuum Sistine's usually stronger, it's just because it's on acoustics while Leaning is on printing press. If you're going acoustics, you're detouring off the path towards both factories and artillery. So this can make you a target, and it can also delay your factories, which are pretty important in this meta, where you might want a certain ideology very fast. So yeah, because of that, I rate it below the other wonder. But it's still really good. Like if you're going for Porcelain Tower, obviously you want Sistine Chapel. If you're playing some wide scaling build, you might really want Sistine Chapel. Like if you're like Liberty on the coast, Sistine is great. But yeah, Sistine, it's still one of the best wonders in the game. But let's talk about the next wonder, which is going to be Leaning Tower of Pisa. Leaning is an amazing scaling wonder. It comes at printing press, which is just like the best location for a wonder to be, because a lot of times you're entering Renaissance through printing to open the World Congress, as well as just heading towards factories. So Leaning Tower is just perfectly on the path, and anytime you see someone enter the Renaissance era and you see it's through printing, you can be pretty sure that Leaning Tower is going to go next turn, because this is just what everyone wants to engineer. You enter printing, you engineer Leaning Tower. That's just how it goes a lot of times if you have an engineer. And so with that engineer, you're going to be going for Leaning Tower. And Leaning Tower gives you 20% Great Person Gen in all cities. And that's just an insane scaling bonus. Like, great people are so good. This can speed up your space timing by a lot because you get a lot of extra scientists. Sometimes it gets you your merchant in time, or your artist in time to chain, or your writers in time for a policy you want to bulb for. This is just, it's a no-brainer. Everyone knows this wonder's broken. Like, it's just, it's so good. Next wonder is going to be, let's go with Kremlin. So Kremlin is, in my opinion, the worst ideology wonder, just based on the benefits. It gives you a free social policy, it requires order, and it gives you 50% production towards armored units in the city. So that can be a lot of hammers, but I mean, it's a free social policy. It's S tier. On top of that, it gives you a huge benefit. A social policy at this point of the game is just so important. This can be getting towards your order 6. And yeah, you always want to save an engineer for this, and you're just going to be going for this if you think you can get it. It's really good. I'm not taking into account the fact that this is on order, which a lot of people consider the strongest ideology right now. So if you consider that, this might just be like the top one wonder of the game. But I'm going to consider it in a vacuum relative to other ideology wonders. So let's talk about the next one, which is going to be Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty gives you +6 citizens and happiness in the city that constructs it, as well as the free social policy. This often isn't more hammers than Kremlin if you're only building armor units in the city, which, like, I didn't say this, but with Kremlin, oftentimes you just want to be spamming, like, tanks, modern armors, or giant death robots from the cities that build it, because that's a lot of production bonus, so you get a lot of extra hammers from this. But Statue of Liberty just gives you 6 pop. That's very strong. That's a lot of science, a lot of gold, a lot of production. And it's also, you might argue it's on a better tech path than Kremlin. Kremlin's on Railroad, which is on the way to land ships. And of course, Railroad's great syntax by itself, because Railroad city connections increase your production. But overall, I'd say Statue is usually better. And then the last ideology wonder coming is going to be Prora. And I think this is the best on average, because although it comes at flight, which is not always what you want to enter modern through, but if you're autocracy, planes are good. Prora is really good. It gives you a lot of happiness. Happiness is important. Staying happy is very important, and this is a lot of it. So in my opinion, it's just the most powerful ideology wonder in a vacuum. So the fact that it gives that much happiness on top of the free policy is broken. It's S tier. And last, but certainly not least, in my opinion, the best wonder in the game is going to be Chichen Itza. So what does Chichen Itza do? It gives you 4 happiness. That's a lot. We talked about that with both Notre Dame and Taj Mahal, that this 4 happiness is not irrelevant at all. It's a lot of free happiness. And so what else does it do? It gives you an engineer point. that's good. That can be your engineer point for your leaning tower engineer. But the most important thing that this gives, of course, is the 50% increase of golden age length. And that is just so much scaling potential. Like, okay, compare this to Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is like going to be 8 turns of golden age. How much is Chichen Itza? So let's say after you build Chichen Itza, you're going to hit your natural golden age and then bulb 3 artists for the game. That by itself right there is going to be 9 plus 4 turns of golden age. That's 13 extra turns of golden age you're getting from Chichen Itza. And that's just in your typical scenario. Like if you natural again, or even like generate a 4th artist, or say like you have a policy golden age or something, that's even more turns of golden age that you're getting from Chichen Itza. But you can argue that, oh, this doesn't give you immediate benefit, but it does. It gives you happiness. It gives you engineer points. 4 happiness is just so good. And this is just like the best scaling wonder in the game because Golden Age is, I already talked about this, so powerful. This can give you so many turns of Golden Age, usually at least 13, which is so much better than Taj Mahal already. A lot better than Uffizi, obviously. So that, in my opinion, this is just the best scaling wonder. You see people rushing civil service all the time because they want to contest this wonder, as well as the freshwater farm bonus, of course. But yeah, that's it. In my opinion, it's just the strongest wonder in the game. And that's going to be my list for how strong the world wonders are. If you have any disagreements or just want to rage bait or debate, I'm more than happy to do so. And yeah, please leave a comment. And I will gladly become a keyboard warrior with any of you in the comments. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. It's my list, my opinion, but I would love to discuss this. All right, that's that. Thanks for watching, y'all. See you.